got no clothes. Hey there, how you doing? Out in YouTube land, it is freezing cold here all across the country from the best I can tell. And in the South, it's been in the teens for several days and down, I think it was 2 degrees at my house a couple days ago. So it's ridiculous. If it looks like I'm freezing to death, I probably am. So anyway, back here to talk about my second experience with the Taurus GX4 in IDPA competition. Now for me, competition is about as natural as breathing air and eating food. I've been an athlete most of my life and raced motorcycles professionally and played basketball at a decent level and just a lot of things to be competitive. And it's not that I'm the greatest athlete in the world, but I just enjoy the competition aspect of getting out and competing with other folks. So moving into competitive shooting was a natural transition for me, and I shot some sporting clay competitions in the past, but I'd never really done a pistol competition until recently when I posted this first video I made a few weeks ago about the Taurus GX4 and IDPA. And so over Christmas I had some time available and they had a match, so I went and shot again and did pretty well. Shooting the GX4 puts me in concealed carry weapons class or something. I can't remember what their classifications are, but most of my fellow competitors are using much more expensive, much more competition focused guns. And so the reason why I shot with the GX4 was really because I just wanted to prove a point to myself and also to my viewers that it doesn't take a lot of investment capital to go out there and do some competition. And competition is healthy. It's healthy for us. We'd be extinct if we weren't a competitive species. So getting out and seeing how you measure up to other folks is a very important thing, just as a human being, but particularly as a firearms user. If you carry a gun every day like I do, and like I'm sure a lot of you folks do, you really need to know how you measure up with that gun. And so another reason I wanted to shoot with the GX4 is because this is the size of gun that I carry often. I can't say I carry the GX4 specifically a lot. I do carry it sometimes. It's certainly not out of the question. But these days, mostly I'm carrying my Hellcat or Glock 43 or my Smith & Wesson, one of my Smith & Wesson revolvers. But I do carry the GX4 sometimes. LCP Max, you know, if you guys watch the channel, you know some of these guns that I use regularly. So I didn't want to take something like my Canik TP9 SFX. Even though it is a competition gun, I wanted to shoot with something that I carry or something in the size and style that I carry before I started getting really serious about winning these competitions overall. And so that's what led me to the GX4, and it being in the competition itself has improved my shooting because it's given me some other ideas about ways of training and some insight into where some of my weak points may have been. And it's incredibly important to be critical of yourself if you're gonna carry a gun and have any intention of using it. And if you don't have any intention of using it, you shouldn't be carrying one. Now that doesn't mean we're all out there looking for somebody to shoot. It's actually the opposite of that, but if you're not prepared to use it, it's just more dangerous to have it than not. So anyway, that's my philosophical take on the whys of what's going on here. Now I'm gonna throw a picture up here. This picture you see right now is all of the gear that I needed to go and compete with. So I had to buy one new magazine and I needed a holster. And this is an outside the waistband holster, which you can use in IDPA if you have a shirt or a coat or something that will go over it. It will count as concealed. And this is actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's a Glock 17 holster, but it works really well with the GX4. And so that's all I really needed: 100 rounds of ammunition, one extra magazine, and a holster. It's a low investment to get out there. It costs 15 bucks to shoot in these matches at the ones that I have here locally. I think if some of the other ones, you have to have a membership fee that you pay, which is $50 a year, and then you pay a fee for the match on top of that. But regardless, the investment is very low. It's a lot of fun. There's some waiting around on things to get rearranged, but overall it's pretty cool. Now I'm gonna go over a couple of these rounds with you guys right quick like, and I've got them on my other phone. I'm shooting this video with one phone and I'm looking at another one. But I just want to narrate what's going on with some of these matches here for you folks. So in this first round, we had some swinging targets. You had to put best of 10 shots on that green target behind there. Now these first two rounds in this match were from a distance that's greater than what I generally practice at with these type of guns. So it was really like 15 yards out, whether it looks like that on the video or not. It was a pretty long distance shot for this type of gun. So I felt like I was at a disadvantage a little bit, but I did the best I could, and I actually came out above a lot of folks. We had some PCCs in this competition. I actually beat out a couple of those guys overall, which I don't know how that happened. But anyway, that was the first round. Then the second round came up, and let me see here. The second round was a little bit more active, and it was pretty cool. We had some Christmas themed things going on. So as you can see, there's some pipes that we're shooting through here on this second round, and it got pretty interesting. And here we go. We got 4 targets coming up out of this first pipe, and then we move over to the second pipe. Now my mistake in this second round, I'm sorry, was not being efficient enough. But again, it was a pretty long distance shot. That was about a 15 or 20 yard shot on that back target, which is a pretty good distance for a compact handgun like that. And you got some targets under cover over there on that second pipe, and so on and so forth. But again, longer distances than I'm normally training at with this type of pistol, which is not an excuse. I'm just saying, like, it's eye-opening. But I did pretty good in that one as well. Now the third round, I didn't get a video of myself doing it, so I'm gonna put a video of a friend of mine who actually scored the best in this round. And to the best of my knowledge, was the only one that actually beat my time in this third round. But this third round was a little bit more suited to what I do, because it was a little bit closer up. You had to hit a little swinging thing there to activate, or a little target to activate the swinger, and then move over and catch a few targets at relatively close range. And there at close range, that's where I'm training with this gun mostly. Throw a grenade down the pipe and catch the swinging target. Now again, Mo here was very efficient. You'll notice he only put as many shots as he needed to on those targets. They score the best 2 hits that you get on either one. So his run was a little more efficient. He beat me by a few seconds, but overall I did pretty good and won my class, and scored in the middle of the field of everybody else. But again, there was some PCCs in that field and a lot of really high-end competition guns, which again, no excuses. Honestly, I should have beat them all. But some of those guys are better shots than I am, and so that's just the way it works. I'm working to get better. But that was my second experience with the IDPA and the GX4 in competition. Now, the next time I shoot, I may opt for a more competition-focused gun. And honestly, if I had known there were going to be some people there shooting PCCs, I probably would have taken my X-Star, to be honest, and shot it, because I could have easily won that class shooting that, and maybe overall, probably overall, just because the X-Star is so badass. But if you're out there thinking about this, if you carry a firearm, you need to get in a situation where you can do some real training. If you're not taking courses or doing something like that, you need to put yourself in a situation where there's some stress involved, some pressure. And I know there are ranges that have kind of simulations of real world experiences, but there's really not any actual pressure on you when you're doing that. If you're trying to beat the guy standing next to you, the girl standing next to you, there's an extra added element that makes it a little bit more realistic and can give you an insight into what you may or may not be good at and what you may or may not need to improve on. So I've been a big fan of this. I'll do as many of these as I can. I generally am teaching on the nights that they hold these competitions up here, but every once in a while my schedule will line up and I'll be able to get out there and compete, and it's a lot of fun, and it's been very worthwhile. And again, you can compete with a very inexpensive investment. You can get this GX4 for just right over $200, pretty regular now. The magazine the extra magazine that I got was probably the biggest hit that I took out of this whole thing, which I think it was $32 plus tax, but I'm sure you could find them cheaper. And then the holster, you know, a We the People holster it's inexpensive Kydex. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. I've got another video I'm gonna put up tonight as well, but hopefully it'll warm up. We can get out there. I've done some deer hunting in this frigid Arctic blast, and boy, it was something else, I tell you what. But anyway, we'll talk more about that later, and I will see all of y'all at the range. I said, come on, Betty, baby, we ain't got no clothes. Cause you got so drunk, girl, you know how to close outdoors. No heater, no fireplace by my bed. Cause the woman I'm loving now, she cherry red. I don't need no heater, man, no fireplace by my bed, boy. Cause the woman I've been loving, she was keeping me cherry red. That moonlight shine through them trees. Don't you see the little woman with a dress above her knees? See that moonlight shine now